This podcast is brought to you by ProcessBarron. Handle everything better. Welcome to Powering the Process, the podcast focused on the real work behind industrial manufacturing. Each week, your host, Jen Little, digs into the systems, equipment, and strategies that keep plants running efficiently. From everyday operational challenges to emerging engineering solutions, we're here to share practical insights that help you keep your process moving. Let's get started.
Welcome to Powering the Process, the show where we explore innovations that keep America's industries running. Today's episode is all about building America, how ProcessBarron powers critical infrastructure. From pulp and paper to cement, steel, utilities, and waste to energy, these industries form the backbone of our economy. And they all rely on systems that must run efficiently and reliably. That's where ProcessBarron comes in. With expertise in air handling, material handling, and environmental solutions, ProcessBarron helps keep these essential operations moving, reducing downtime and improving performance in some of the toughest industrial environments. Today's guest is Tim Iori, President and CEO of ProcessBarron, and he has been with us almost 6 years. Thank you, Tim.
Thanks, Jen. Appreciate you having me on.
Of course. So we're just going to start. We're going to talk just generally about how ProcessBarron fits into the building of America and the part that we play in the infrastructure.
Right.
So what does building America mean to you in the context of manufacturing?
Well, I think that, especially here at ProcessBarron, the industries that we really support and interact with are the infrastructure of the country. So when we think about cement, steel, utilities, waste to energy, pulp and paper, that's the infrastructure that builds everything we do. So I think it supports all the major industries, it supports the foundation, and I think us being able to provide equipment and services to those customers really helps that foundation.
Right. So why do you think domestic manufacturing is critical to the national resilience and economic growth?
Well, I think first and foremost, being able to invest in the country is really important. I think being able to have high-tech jobs, high-tech, high-paying jobs in the country is important. I think that during COVID, a lot of companies saw disruption in supply chains. And I think that we're also seeing right now, just in the political landscape, that there's a lot of conflict and a lot of unrest and challenges you don't know about. And so being able to reshore that gives people more confidence in the supply chain and gives people more confidence in made for America, which is where we play. We're very much made in America, and that's where all of our products, all of our services are manufactured here, and I think that gives our customers a lot of confidence in our products.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So obviously we play a role in major industries. You mentioned pulp and paper, cement, steel, biomass, utilities, waste to energy. So of all the examples that you could have for us, and I know we do about 3,000 jobs a year on field service side, and Michael told us earlier today that we processed over 13,000 work orders in the manufacturing shops.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. That's a lot. But can you, do one of those jobs, I know that would be a lot, but does one job stand out to you over the past year or your time, that you've been here? Does one stand out more than the others?
So I think one example that kind of comes to mind quickly is, and we're currently working on this with a customer. So a customer explained to us that they have a fleet of fans across all of their centers, that every single fan is different. And being able to have spares and have reliable spares is impossible for them. So, they came to us and said, what solution can you come up with on how we can shorten lead times, how we can work together to be more supportive and collaborative. So we worked with them on realizing that a lot of the in the cycle of building a spare fan or building a fan comes in the engineering and then also on machining of shafts or getting the shaft manufactured. So we worked with that customer to do all the engineering up front on their fans, and that's a process we're working through right now. And then we're holding inventory of shafts in our shops, so that whereas manufacturing a fan could take multiple weeks up to a month, we're able to cut that cycle time in half for that customer, so that if they do have a catastrophic failure, we're able to provide them a spare fan in record time, so faster than anyone else. And I think that just really is, testament to our teams being collaborative, thinking out of the box, but then coming up with solutions that are win-win for us and our customers.
Right, absolutely. So ProcessBarron is one of those companies that people, it's hard to say when somebody says, what do you do? And it's one of those things where you have to have that 1 or 2 sentence definition put out there to try to explain what ProcessBarron does. And there are competitors everywhere that do 1 or 2 things that we do, but there's not one competitor that does everything that we do. So do you think that in itself is our competitive advantage?
I think it's a huge advantage. I mean, I think that, we use the term turnkey a lot. Being able to design, manufacture, install, and then service that equipment, that gives us a competitive advantage that no other competitor has. I think our breadth of products across, air handling, material handling, air pollution control, on the steam turbine side, again, there isn't a competitor that covers all of those products. When a customer has a problem and they want a solution, it's very easy for them to come to us because we're able to provide a full turnkey solution that covers a lot of their products. When I think about, an outage, usually the project management teams, usually the maintenance teams are pretty thin. And if they're trying to cover 10 different suppliers out there, it can be very difficult. If they have one supplier that can do all of the design, the manufacturing, the installation, and support them on that service going forward, I just think that's a huge advantage, and customers have told us that. And that's not going to change going forward. Maintenance teams are going to have less experience and really count on us for expertise. So I think that having that expertise across the whole company really gives us an advantage because we're able to leverage those teams across the other ones. If engineering needs to get involved on the product side or the service side, they have the experience to do so. We run into a lot of problems, and our customers run into a lot of problems, and having that expertise in-house really cuts down on how quickly we can come up with a solution, but then also the breadth of the problem that we can cover.
I agree with you. Now, looking at the future, so what do you think, what new technologies and processes do you think are going to shape the future in the industries that we work in?
So I think that within the shops, it's been pretty neat recently what we've been able to invest in. New CNC technology comes out pretty regularly, and that's been great to move from manual to CNC world. Our machinists love it. It's a lot easier for them. We're getting better products, higher quality. But then we've also invested on the robotic welding side as well. Being able to invest in robotic welding, again, we're able to pass that productivity onto our customer, give them higher quality results on the welding side, and we're able to do more products. So I think that that's been pretty exciting on the shop side. On the engineering, we have just fantastic engineers from a ton of great colleges here, and I think the kids get smarter every year. We've seen them grow from interns and co-ops into engineers, and what they're able to do with the CFD analysis and algorithms and now AI. It's really, really interesting. I think we have the best designs we've ever had on the fan side, especially on the air handling, and I think that technology is enabling them to do it. In the past, there was a lot of reliance on just experience. And now with the modeling that's available, you can do a lot of really neat things.
I know we've made great strides in what I call the internship program.
Yeah.
And I know that some of those students are actually coming back for full-time employment.
Absolutely.
After graduation.
Yeah.
So that's amazing.
It's fun to see.
Yeah,
It is.
and then
I
building up a new generation.
Exactly. And then they come in year one and they already have, almost a year or two of experience.
Right.
So, they hit the ground running. So, that investment that we're putting in them pays off for us as well. They're getting real world experience, which is what we need is, we need engineers that have that real world experience. So the more that we can put them in the field, the more they can get experience in the shops, working hands-on with everyone from our superintendents to our millwrights and our leaders in the field. It's a great experience.
Mm-hmm. So if there are any young engineers out there right now and they're looking around and they think, I wonder if ProcessBarron is the place for me, what's some advice that you would give them?
I think the hands-on experience, you can't replicate that at all.
Right.
So I think coming in and being able to see what the teams can do, trying to get that hands-on experience. And we've had interns that do everything from engineering to shop work. They're involved in our lean workouts. They're doing, some of the CFD analysis we talked about. So I think the breadth of the opportunities we have here, we can definitely find something. Whatever your interest, we can find something for you.
Awesome. So what do you think the biggest challenges are facing American manufacturing going forward?
Mm-hmm. I think, we talked a little bit about the talent, especially on the trades. Mm-hmm. I think we continue to see some challenges there. I see less and less young people wanting to get into welding and fabricating and machining. And I think that's a detriment to the whole country. We have definitely found it harder and harder to find skilled employment, and I think everyone sees that. I'd love to see more involvement in the trade schools. Mm-hmm. We've partnered with quite a few around Birmingham here. We've invested in, like you said, interns and co-ops, but then also on the trade side, we've had quite a few apprentices come through to try to really focus on improving that training and what they get coming in. Mm-hmm. I think also being able to provide, exciting careers is what people want to see, right? So being able to provide opportunity where there's advancement in different fields, they get that real world experience, and they kind of can experience, everything that we have. I think that's what they're looking for.
Well, as far as ProcessBarron goes, I think everybody would agree we have a pretty large footprint across all these industries. But where do you see the greatest opportunity for growth in the next 5 to 10 years for ProcessBarron?
So I think that we're going to see, our core products continue to grow. Infrastructure is not going anywhere. Right. From a political standpoint, we continue to see administration after administration invest in the foundations, and those are where we play. I think the easiest one to latch on right now is really around the data center world. We're seeing explosive growth in that sector, and we can support everything in that world. So around the construction side, so obviously steel and cement we've talked about, but really even on the power side. So we're supporting the utilities that are providing power to the data centers. We're helping some of these scalers grow up quicker. So we really play in that data center world, and we're seeing explosive growth there right now.
Also kind of going into back pressure steam turbines.
Exactly.
And a lot of those are in more, I guess, what we've seen so far in the sugar mills. Absolutely. Or sugar beet production.
And a lot of our customers are looking for just efficiency savings, right? It's a lot of our customers have aging mills, and they're looking for repair, rebuild, cost savings, efficiency improvements, and that's really where we play. So I think as utilities are getting tighter and tighter for power, and everyone's kind of looking at where can I have efficiency, where can I use some of my excess power. We're really seeing it on the steam turbine side, and then we're partnering with utility organizations to help them on these efficiency projects as well.
After 45 plus years, when ProcessBarron started out, kind of singular with the one or two things that we did, and then every few years, either an acquisition or acquisition of just talent and know-how. And then to have the product lines that we have now is amazing to me.
It's an awesome story.
It is a great story. And there's obviously room to add in the data centers and the back pressure steam turbines. And so why not just expand bigger and bigger? And I think we have the talent to do that. I think we have our own infrastructure.
We have the capacity.
ProcessBarron has grown and strengthened over the years. But when it comes to culture, ProcessBarron culture, what's one or two words you would use to describe the culture here at ProcessBarron?
So I think the one really that comes top of mind is going to be resilient. It's an organization that is just resilient to all that change that you mentioned, but then always trying to partner with the customer on coming to a solution. So I think that resilience has really been across all the groups. So I see it on the engineering side, and the field side, and the shops. With that growth comes a lot of change, and the team just seems resilient to want to succeed. And I think that's why we think we put out a better product and a better service than our competitors. And I think that is really a strength on the core team here.
I agree with that completely. And we value you and your leadership here at ProcessBarron. And with that, I think we're going to call it a wrap because I couldn't say it any better myself. Thank you, Tim, so much. It's been great. Thanks, everybody.